Content warning. The following video contains material that may be harmful or traumatizing to some audiences. Viewer discretion is advised.
Welcome to the hit list. You can't escape your face on the news. Don't mess with fate. Locked up in prison, wood chipper running hot. Police on a mission, hope you don't get caught. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the lies. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Lies and deception, caught in the storm. Future in question, nowhere left to run. Silver bracelets tight, get arrested tonight. In this endless fight, can't hide from the light. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh yeah, no, no, yeah, yeah, yeah. The choices you made, heading one way. No turning back, this price to pay. Oh. Whoa, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A Crockett man is behind bars tonight after police say he failed to follow Texas sex offender registration requirements. 45-year-old James Myers, right there on your screen, was arrested Wednesday after investigators discovered a social media account he allegedly did not report to authorities. Texas law requires registered sex offenders to disclose all social media accounts to law enforcement. Police say they found out during a routine review of registered offenders in the community. Myers remains in the Houston County Jail.
In Pike County, a Blooming Grove Township man is headed to state prison for child sex crimes. Prosecutors say 73-year-old Juan Alvarado pleaded guilty. He was sentenced to spend anywhere from almost 5 years up to 23 years in prison. The case involved 2 children and child sexual abuse materials found on his devices. A judge also ruled Alvarado is a sexually violent predator, and that means he will have to register for life under Megan's Law.
Days after her husband was arrested for child molestation, a woman is now charged with the same crime. It's connected to the horrific allegations against a former Vancouver, Washington pediatrician. Vancouver police shared this picture on social media. It shows officers taking Anna Mae Hartley into custody on Monday. Police say detectives booked her into Clark County Jail for child molestation and trafficking. Her husband, Chad Hartley, was arrested 2 weeks ago for the same crimes. According to court documents, Chad Hartley brought a child to Dr. Michael Wilmington's home for weekly nude sleepovers. Wilmington was accused of child molestation and called an extreme threat to children in the community. Wilmington died by suicide on May 2nd after a warrant was put out for his arrest. A 61-year-old man has also been arrested in connection with this case. Wilmington was fired by Kaiser Permanente on April 30th. In a lawsuit filed this week, attorneys for a former patient and survivor of the doctor alleged abuse sued the health system. The suit makes several accusations, including that Kaiser Permanente knew about the danger Wilmington presented to patients and failed to protect children. We reached out to Kaiser for their response to the lawsuit. In a statement, they tell us they're cooperating with law enforcement and add, quote, "Our primary concern continues to be for anyone who has been affected by Dr. Wilmington's actions. We have attempted to notify every patient that Dr. Wilmington has seen and have encouraged any patient, parent, or guardian who has questions or concerns or needs health support to call us." Quote, "We have set up a dedicated line at 877-226-1264. We continue to urge anyone with information relevant to the investigation to contact local law enforcement." To dive more into this lawsuit, we're joined by Jason Amala, one of the attorneys representing Jane Doe. Thank you for being here, Jason.
Thank you for having me.
And to start, can you tell us when Jane Doe says the abuse started?
In approximately 2000 until about 2006, when she was just 6 to 12 years old.
And your lawsuit claims Kaiser knew about the danger this doctor posed and did nothing. Can you expand more on that?
Sure. In the about 10 days since this kind of it broke about the criminal charges and the warrant that was out for him, we've been contacted by close to 100 different people, either parents or patients, about Dr. Wilmington with information about their own experiences. Some of those phone calls, people shared, a mom shared that she went 20 years ago, took her kids to see Dr. Wilmington. There were 3 kids, 2 brothers and a sister. During that visit, one of the kids had nosebleeds, and during the visit, he asked to do wellness checks of the boys, even though it wasn't that time of year, and fondled the boys in front of her during the exams, and then turned to the daughter and wanted to do an exam of the daughter and asked to do it in private. And when the mom said no, he got enraged and got mad at her and said some unkind things to the mom. So she turned around and complained to Kaiser. That's just one example, more than 20 years ago, of pretty serious misconduct by Dr. Wilmington in front of a mom, and nothing was done.
Can you estimate how many survivors do you think might be out there?
Dr. Wilmington was a patient for about 30 years, and we've had dozens of people contact us and share stories where, like a lot of bad doctors, and our firm's represented a number of victims and survivors of different bad doctors around the country, he would use his position as a pediatrician to the auspices of medical care to sexually abuse them. So I don't know how many patients he had during that time period, but there could be literally thousands of victims out there, because he would use his position to do stuff to the kids that wasn't medically appropriate. And we're hearing that over and over and over again. He's fondling kids' genitals and breasts without a reason to do it. And then obviously there's a spectrum of what he did to kids. That's, I'll say, on one end of the spectrum, and then obviously there's a lot more horrific conduct, but I don't know if we talk about it.
And from your research and from your knowledge, do you believe that this could be part of some larger predator network right now?
It sure looks that way. Just in the last week, the arrests that are happening, the sharing of the child pornography, I don't know how extensive it is. It's starting to sound like he may have taken photos of some of his patients. Then another red flag that hearing, he would routinely talk to the kids in front of their parents about nudity, about it's okay to be naked. He would invite kids over to his own home. It sounds like he used his own kids as kind of bait to try to get kids to come over to his home. Sleepovers, get-togethers. So it's really terrifying, especially for someone in that position that a lot of parents would trust, right? Your kid's pediatrician. So yeah, maybe part of a broader network. We just don't know, but it's really extensive what we've heard from people.
Well, thank you for your answer. How is the survivor you represent doing now?
Jane Doe's, she's processing, right? It's hard for anyone who comes forward. When people are abused as kids, it impacts people in different ways. It doesn't affect everyone the same way. I think for her and a lot of folks in these types of cases, to know that you're not alone, to kind of suddenly have that paradigm shift, to suddenly be like, gosh, that seemed off at the time. And then to hear from other people who are like, yeah, that was off. That's really hard. The breach of trust, right? Your pediatrician, family doctor is really hard, kind of processing that. For her coming forward and speaking out, I think is the choice she made. It's been very healthy for her. And we're hearing from a lot of other people who are processing in different ways.
Oh, and finally, you are unfortunately, you're familiar with a lot of child sex abuse cases. Are there any particular warning signs parents should be looking out for to help prevent abuse?
Yeah, I'd start by just saying, talking to your kids, right, at appropriate ages about there are people out there that are not good people, and just because someone's a doctor or in a position of trust, to speak up, and it's always okay to share. They're never going to get in trouble if they share. For warning signs, some things would be kids who are maybe a little, sexualized. Kids can be kids. But there's a point where you might see some warning signs, and just talking to your kids and asking what's going on. And again, just making sure that they know they're never going to be in trouble if they share with you, right? No matter who they're talking about, a family member, a doctor, a trusted person, it kind of starts there where your kids always feel comfortable talking with you and sharing and knowing you're not going to get in trouble for sharing.
Attorney Jason Amala, thank you for your time.
Thank you.
3 men entrusted to uphold the law in Western Washington are now in trouble themselves.
It really breaks my heart. If these allegations are to be sustained, it is really a black eye for all the men and women that are here doing a good job.
Arlington Police Chief Jonathan Ventura reacting to one of his officers being arrested. Dustin Bartlett was taken in on Monday after investigators say his girlfriend found child sex abuse material on his computer. She told Island County investigators she found 2 hard drives hidden behind his bulletproof vest in their shared closet at their home on Camano Island. Detectives said they found more than 5,000 files dating back to 2011.
This is an officer that had been in charge of training officers, new officers within our department. He's been decorated in the past, very well respected within the department. So it was a shock to everyone.
In Mason County, a corrections officer at the prison in Shelton was also taken into custody this week. He's accused of possessing and distributing child sex abuse material. An Auburn police officer was arrested last week for allegedly sending sexual messages to a minor. That case is playing out in Pierce County courts. The only connection, based on allegations, broken trust.
Something like this, quite frankly, is a huge setback for all of the officers here at the department that come to work every day.
So none of the 3 men have been formally charged. All of them either are or will be placed on some sort of leave as the legal process plays out. Bridget?
Jim, thank you.
First at 5, a 19-year-old man convicted of kidnapping and raping multiple women with the aid of social media and dating apps was sentenced to prison.
Fox 12's McKenna Marks was in the courtroom and joins us live after speaking with the prosecutor on this case. McKenna, what did she tell you?
Yeah, Pete, Nora, Damani Anderson was sentenced to 45 years in prison today. Now, before the judge handed out his sentence, the court also heard from multiple victims. And like you said, I was able to speak to the prosecutor on this case, and she tells me if it wasn't for the bravery of these victims, Anderson likely wouldn't have received such a lengthy sentence.
You're going to prison for a very long time.
Over a year and a half after he was arrested on rape and kidnapping charges, 19-year-old Damani Anderson was sentenced to 45 years in prison. Anderson was arrested in August of 2024, and the Multnomah County District Attorney's Office says multiple adult and juvenile women, including a 13-year-old, came forward.
We shouldn't let ourselves get too far removed from the fact that these are real things that happen to real people. And this case begs for that reminder. That very real, very terrifying things happen to very young people at the hands of Damani Anderson.
Police say Anderson would find his victims on social media or dating apps and convince them to meet him in a secluded area. Then, police say Anderson would hold his victims at gunpoint before assaulting them.
I am so sorry this happened to you.
Prosecutor Robin Skarsdad says it's because of the victims that came forward that the Portland community is now a little safer.
Because this was an individual who was on a path of reoffending. To my assessment, his attacks were getting more violent, and the fact that they were willing to come forward at great personal cost to themselves to keep the rest of the community safe is really meaningful.
Anderson was facing more than 40 charges connected to 5 different rape cases. Last week, he pleaded guilty to 12 charges.
As to count 1, then, in case number 24 CR 41664, which charges you with the crime of rape in the first degree with a firearm, how do you wish to plead? Guilty. As to count 4, then, in the same case, which charges you with the crime of kidnapping in the first degree with a firearm, how do you wish to plead? Guilty.
In court on Thursday, many of Anderson's victims shared their impact statements with the judge, detailing how their lives have changed since they were attacked, including one of the victims' mothers.
This is not something that heals. It is not something that fades with time. This damage and the discomfort she will always feel will move into every relationship we will ever have.
And Skarsdad says it's thanks to the victims who came forward that justice was served.
These victims who came today to send that message about this is what coming forward looks like, that you can get justice, if not relief, is a message that I hope will encourage others to do that and continue to make our environment safer.
Anderson was also required to register as a sex offender and also received a sentence of 20 years of post-prison supervision. Reporting live from downtown Portland, McKenna Marks, Fox 12 Oregon.
Let's get you caught up on some top headlines. A local pastor who's also a bus driver is facing charges for alleged sex crimes with minors. Today in court, judge setting a $30,000 bond for 52-year-old Christopher Walter. He's of Deschler. He's listed online as the pastor of Emmanuel Lutheran Church. He's also an employee of the Patrick Henry School District. They released a statement today saying they're aware of the arrest and they suspended him without pay.
In Toledo, a man was arrested in Janesville after police performed a search warrant connected to a child pornography investigation. Janesville police say 45-year-old Christopher Redmond was arrested for alleged bail jumping. On Thursday, police, including detectives and K-9 Maui, searched Redmond's house on East Racine Street, where they found numerous devices, drugs, and guns inside. Police had previously investigated Redmond back in 2021 after receiving cyber tip line reports that led to his child pornography arrest. As part of that case, court records show Redmond was banned from having any devices as a condition of his bond. Police said the investigation is still going and additional charges may be added.
All right, a major twist in one of Central Texas's most controversial criminal cases. Former Waco attorney Adam Dean Hoffman has been ordered to register as a sex offender in Nebraska, even though he was never required to register in Texas. Nebraska officials say state law requires registration based on Hoffman's Texas conviction for indecent assault. Hoffman's case sparked outrage after a plea deal reduced original child sexual abuse allegations down to misdemeanor charges. The McLennan County DA's office had recused themselves from this case, and so Ken Paxton's Attorney General office stepped in to prosecute this case, and that is who worked up the plea deal for Hoffman. Now, weeks after this case made headlines, Nebraska is taking a step that Texas never did.
A former Toledo Catholic school teacher and coach was arrested in Florida last week for allegedly possessing child sexual abuse material. Patrick Russell was booked into the Broward County Jail. Court records allege he admitted to FBI agents that he kept thousands of images and videos of abuse material on his phone. Russell previously worked at 2 Catholic schools in our area. 13 Action News anchor Kevon Dupree brings us the latest details in Russell's case.
37-year-old Patrick Russell, a former Toledo Catholic school teacher and coach, was arrested in Deerfield Beach, Florida last Thursday. Russell is facing charges related to possessing child sexual abuse material. FBI agents say they found over 3,000 images and videos of material and allege Russell confessed to viewing, receiving, and distributing the material on various online platforms. Russell previously worked at St. John's Jesuit and St. Benedict in Toledo. We reached out to St. John's and was able to confirm that he worked there as a teacher and coach from fall 2013 to spring 2016. St. John's Jesuit Vice President of Marketing and Communication Julie Snyder sent 13 Action News a statement saying in part, quote, "The school administration was recently made aware of his arrest by the FBI in Florida on child pornography charges." She went on to say, based on the information currently available, the reported federal charges relate to his time in Florida and are not connected to his employment at St. John's Jesuit. In a statement that St. Benedict school officials sent out to families, they confirmed Russell worked there in 2015. They also say there is no evidence of Russell committing any crimes while employed there. However, the 13 Action News I-Team learned that Russell engaged in unbecoming conduct and signed this agreement with the Ohio Department of Education in November 2019, consenting to have the Ohio teaching certification he was issued in 2014 suspended indefinitely. Claudia Versalati with the Survivors Network of Those Abused by Priests and Other Church Leaders says Russell being banned from teaching in the state is alarming and believes there's more to the story than what is being shared by both schools he worked at in Toledo.
There's a big disconnect in the facts, for sure, and we don't know. So why would they minimize his time here? What they should have said was his license was revoked in Ohio after he taught here, and that's the truth, and that's public record. What they should have said is they should have strongly encouraged their alumni to, and anyone with information, anyone that came into contact with Patrick Russell, and encourage individuals to reach out to the FBI. They may have information that will be relevant and helpful.
In Toledo, Kevon Dupree, 13 Action News.
A Montgomery County man originally charged with sexually abusing children is now facing more than 150 charges, including rape. Now investigators worry there may be more victims. Abington police say an investigation that started last December found Darren Thatch had been paying girls under 18 for sexual acts and nude images. He was first charged in March with several counts of sexual abuse of children. During the investigation, police identified more victims and arrested Thatch again yesterday. If anyone has any information on and believes they may have been a victim or seen one, call the Abington Police Special Victims Unit.
A North Tonawanda man is facing child pornography charges following a joint investigation by NT Police and Homeland Security. Police say 26-year-old Nicholas McDonald was arrested today after his home was searched with a warrant. Investigators say they found a large amount of child pornography on seized devices. McDonald was later charged with 4 counts promoting and possessing child sexual performance material. Police say he was employed as a bus driver and was terminated following that arrest.
A serial rapist is being sentenced in Kenton County.
Prosecutors say he used spyware to target his victims.
Brady Williams has more on this disturbing case.
He has been sentenced for 70 years. This is Paul Snow, and the only reason that it is 70 years and not more is because Kentucky has a cap in place. That is the maximum he could get. The amount recommended by the judge, by the jury, by the prosecution, 356 years. That is all still on record, because when this goes before a parole board, they want to make sure that the testimony that we heard today from witnesses is on record, and that it is on record that they wanted 300 years because of how appalled they were by what they heard here. We heard from 4 victims today, but we understand that there were dozens throughout the course of this trial. There are more in other counties as well. They described a pattern where Snow would use technology, spyware, to lure, assault, and threaten these women. They say that he was able to access private pictures of them, information, pictures of their children even, to try and get a hold of them and eventually extort them when he assaulted them so that they would not come out. Many described how frightened they were of that. They say that he would claim to be law enforcement or former law enforcement, and that he had connections with which he could get them charged for things like DUI or requesting drugs. They say that he claimed to be military intelligence, so he was able to use surveillance and monitor them. We understand that he was less than honorably discharged, according to the Army and what they told detectives. That was for crashing his own car and injuring his own foot to try and avoid deployment back then. These instances, these accusations go back at least as far as 2014. And we heard the impact that they had on some of the victims here today. And while you watch this soundbite, I want you to know that the video of him is happening while she's saying this.
The hell I had to experience with Paul Snow has made me question myself and God every day since, wondering what I did in life to deserve this. What did I do so wrong to have to deal with such evil antics and actions? I often question why this happened to me, and I struggle with the emotional weight of it every day. I miss the person I was before.
Now, he does face other charges in Gallatin County. That is where he was initially arrested as well. He has a pretrial hearing for that in 10 days. Now, again, 70 years. He is 44 years old. That would make him 114 if he serves that full sentence. He is eligible for parole. He could appeal this. But again, I want to stress that the statements made today were emphatic. Live in Covington with photojournalist Sydney Bell and Brady Williams, Fox 19 Now.
Thank you. And on to more headlines. We are learning new details from a plea deal for the director of a Brownsburg daycare center. Jennifer Lingbeck will plead guilty to 1 count of neglect of a dependent and 1 count of failure to make a report. Lingbeck originally faced 5 other charges. Now those will be dismissed. She faces a maximum of 3 years in prison. Lingbeck's change of plea hearing is July 20th. Now, she used to work at Main Street University for Kids in Brownsburg, a daycare center. Well, last year, the state ordered the center to shut down after a former employee was charged with child molestation and exploitation.
Jean Muska, seen here in a Cape May County booking photo, appeared again in court today by video in Montgomery County, this time wearing a red jumpsuit. He didn't say much. A defense lawyer argued for lower bail. Friday night after his arrest, bail was denied for the 25-year-old, saying no amount of money could ensure the safety of the community if he was released. A higher court judge today agreed to impose $250,000 cash bail. This, as NBC 10 has learned new tips are coming in about the Quakertown man and more potential crimes.
The defendant has been charged with rape and engaging in sex acts without the consent of a minor victim, as well as trafficking that victim.
Police say Muska raped a 14-year-old girl multiple times in a bedroom of this Quakertown house. Prosecutors say Muska lives here with his aunt.
He's also, regarding another victim in the case, been charged with rape and trafficking.
A woman police say was unconscious at the time of the assault.
There were videos found on the phone. At this point, some have been able to be identified, and my understanding is at this point we are unable to identify some of the victims in those videos.
NBC 10 has learned police departments in 2 counties have been getting calls about Muska since our story aired on Friday night.
It's tough, especially for teenagers. I can imagine who maybe part of their victimization they might feel is their fault or that they're doing something wrong. What's important is if that a teenage girl, for example, is being trafficked and might not even know what that is, but is being forced or coerced or in some way being asked to perform sex acts, in exchange for drugs, that they report it to the police.
We've also obtained paperwork that shows Muska was arrested for stalking in January of this year. That case was handled by Pennsylvania State Police, who write in court documents that when they asked Muska to leave the woman's apartment complex, he refused. and resisted arrest. Muska's defense lawyer told the court he's only been employed at a local Dunkin' Donuts for about a week prior to this arrest and likely won't be able to make bail. Police tell us the case is not yet over and encourage all who think they were victimized to report it to police. In Norristown, Deanna Durante, NBC 10 News.
A Wichita man is sentenced to 25 years to life for child sex crimes. The Sedgwick County District Attorney's Office says that Jared Mendez was sentenced after he was convicted of 3 counts of aggravated indecent liberties with a child. He was also sentenced to more than 5 years for a conviction of attempted rape. Mendez was found guilty last November. He must serve a mandatory 25 years before he's eligible for parole.
Disturbing discovery in the South Bay. A child therapist is facing federal charges after investigators say he secretly recorded young girls in a public restroom. The investigation into the therapist continues tonight as officials are attempting to identify more possible victims.
KTLA's Mary Beth McDade is live in Manhattan Beach with more. MB?
Yeah, Mike and share that Manhattan Beach therapist is behind bars tonight. The FBI says that they found several child porn videos. Some they believe that he purchased and others they think he produced. And they believe there are more victims out there. The FBI wants you to take a good look at this Manhattan Beach marriage and family therapist. 30-year-old Joseph Towles is facing federal child porn charges for allegedly recording young girls inside a clinic where he worked.
For our investigation, we identified that he had produced child sexual assault material. We also believe that he had purchased child sexual assault material on the dark web utilizing cryptocurrency.
While the feds recently served a search warrant at the Neuro Wellness Spa in Manhattan Beach, where he most recently worked, to look for more evidence. They're unsure where he secretly set up cameras inside a public restroom and recorded numerous videos involving girls between the ages of 8 and 12.
Mr. Towles was working as a child therapist in several locations, we believe. It appears that he was surreptitiously recording girls between the ages of 8 and 12 years old in multiple locations. Public restrooms, potentially commercial restrooms, potentially. We are still investigating the locations.
His LinkedIn lists several places where he's been employed as a therapist, but no employment is listed in January 2023, where investigators believe the girls were filmed.
We're seeking information regarding any potential victims of Mr. Towles, as well as any potential workplaces where he may have been surreptitiously recording these victims.
The FBI also believes that Towles purchased child porn on several sites known to investigators. They say he set up a Robinhood account using a torrent address connected to both him and his mother, and allegedly bought the disturbing material using Bitcoin.
Towles is in a position of trust as a therapist. Anytime a person in a position of trust takes advantage of an individual in their care, it is the worst type of victimization that can happen.
Well, the feds say that the Neuro Wellness Spa here in Manhattan Beach does treat minors. However, the company tells us that when Towles was employed here, that he did not treat any minor patients. For now, reporting live in Manhattan Beach, Mary Beth McDade. Send back to you guys in the studio.
But first tonight at 6, a former Roswell High School educator arrested and accused of sexually assaulting a 16-year-old student.
Well, police say Dr. Amanda Katz was a student's teacher before being moved into an administrative role at Roswell High School. She was arrested Tuesday and then later granted a $25,000 bond. Let's get straight to 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn in the newsroom right now. You have the latest details. So what are we learning tonight, Cody?
Well, Ron, what stands out in this case, in this warrant, Roswell police say Amanda Katz used a Spanish lesson as a so-called ruse to build a relationship with this 16-year-old kid. She wanted to learn Spanish, but instead of opening a book or taking a class like a normal adult, police say she used it as a ruse to get close to the 16-year-old, and a language lesson at her house quickly turned into sex. And what this grown woman believed was a full-on relationship. Dr. Amanda Katz is charged with improper sexual contact by an employee or agent. Roswell police say she first sexually assaulted the student the day after Christmas at her townhome in Alpharetta. The teenager told police this continued on for weeks. Now, at some point, his mom became suspicious of how comfortable the two were around each other. She looked through his phone during a cabin trip to Helen during Valentine's Day weekend and discovered the relationship that eventually led to Kat's arrest yesterday. Police say there were nearly 20,000 texts and hundreds of phone calls between these two. Coming up tonight at 11, we will have some of those text messages investigators say were exchanged between Katz and the teenager. Parents, this is a very eye-opening story, and this is now one of two women in Metro Atlanta now accused of having sex with her students in recent months.
Yeah, very disturbing allegations. We'll see you tonight at 11 o'clock. And folks, as Cody just pointed out, this is not the only North Georgia educator to face criminal charges recently. We've also been following the case of Maris Nichols. The Douglas County teacher is accused of sexually assaulting two students and sending nude photographs to at least 4 other students. Warrants also allege that she was grooming her male students. Nichols taught biology at Alexander High School. She's facing more than 12 charges.
A Paragould sex offender is heading back to prison, this time for abusing a child. A judge sentenced Harold Allen to 5 more years this week after he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of second-degree sexual assault. Allen was already serving 10 years for failing to register as a sex offender. He won't start this new sentence until that one is finished. The judge also ordered Allen to have no contact with the victim.
Well, 46-year-old David Chatrunk, a registered sex offender living in Rockford, faces charges including possessing child sex abuse material and failing to register as a sex offender in Rockford. Police went to his workplace in the 800 block of Chestnut Street with a warrant for his arrest. As part of that warrant, officers searched his phone, reportedly finding child sex abuse material. According to the Illinois Sex Offender Registry, he was convicted of sexual assault in 2004 and federal child pornography crimes in 2006.
You're charged with the offense in count 2 of indecency with a child by contact. Range, you understand the state is proceeding on count 2. They're recommending deferred adjudication in Chapter 6. Calling 2022 CR 7206, State of Texas versus Judah Castillo. Can I have the parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Mitchell for the state.
Defense.
Johnny Cisneros.
Are you Mr. Castillo?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case?
I have, Your Honor.
And did you review that with your client?
I did.
And let me just make sure there's an acknowledgement in the file. Did you all sign an acknowledgement of discovery? Because I
thought we had before, but I did not do one today.
All right, because I don't have one in the file.
But yes, they've given me all the discovery on.
Right.
We'll sign it here in a second.
All right, thank you. Mr. Castillo, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, we are proceeding on count 2 and we'll waive the remaining counts.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense in count 2 of indecency with a child by contact? Range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement you were giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication? Thank you. If for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent, was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe he was, Your Honor.
Mr. Castilla, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No, Your Honor.
Satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand the state is proceeding on count 2? They're recommending deferred adjudication and Chapter 62 registration. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense? Is that the plea?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, off the record. Excuse me. This is not fun time. You all are not allowed to communicate with each other. Do you understand? That's either yes or no. All right, if there's talking in the box between inmates in the box or with you, with people in the audience, what's going to end up happening is you're going to get sent back and maybe we'll see you next year. Does everybody understand? All right, we're back on the record. Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? Oh, I'm sorry, where was I?
The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions.
Thank you. Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for 7 years. There be no contact with the complainant, tap and evaluation, and follow all recommendations. And of course, you'll be in the sex offender unit. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, any evidence?
Your Honor, we have the state's exhibit number 1 and all attachments.
Any objection?
No objections, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled Waiving Consent to Stipulation of Testimony and Stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand today that the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, the court will find there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. All right. State, are we proceeding on sentencing?
We'd like to proceed today, Your Honor.
All right, so what is the reasoning behind this offer, State?
Your Honor, the defense and I have been conferring for a while, and there are certain issues that came about in our negotiations where the end result is I believe that this agreement is the best result for all parties involved.
All right, and is the complainant aware of this, and is the complainant's family aware of this?
Yeah.
All right, are you employed?
Yes, ma'am.
Who are you staying with?
I stay with my grandmother and my girlfriend.
Children in that household?
No.
And is that girlfriend the same mother who's in this case or someone different?
Somebody different.
Is she expecting a child or no? All right, this is what the court will do. Court will sentence you to 7 years deferred adjudication. There's to be no contact with minors. There's to be Chapter 62 registration, sex offender unit. I can't give you community service hours because there's no community service hours that will accept community service hours from you or that will allow you to work your community service hours. I'm going to do regular UAs, regular reporting, field visits, and I know they do field visits, but can you make sure that they don't have any children in the household? All right, thank you. And we'll do field visits 2 times per month. Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Probation, is there anything else? Is there anything else you need from the court to be successful?
I'm sorry.
Do you need anything else from the court to be successful?
Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled Child Court Certification of Defendant Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. And I'm sorry, I saw in the police report. Do you have a child?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I'm going to want CPS compliance if applicable. All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
No.
All right. If there's something that is not being addressed with probation, you need to let the court know. And I know you know, or you should know, that there is to be no internet access without permission. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. If there's nothing else, probation will go over conditions with you.
Can I ask my client a couple of questions?
Yes. And we're still on the record.
Mr. Castilla, I have explained to you the difference between deferred adjudication and probation.
All right, y'all need to whisper. Yes.
And on the deferred adjudication, as I explained to you, and correct me if I'm wrong, I told you that on deferred adjudication, if you successfully complete the probationary period, your probation would be, your case would be dismissed, correct? You understand that?
Yes, sir.
And you have to continue to register for the rest of your life.
Yes, sir.
But I also told you, did I not, that if you don't successfully complete the probationary period, like Veronica told you, that you could be sentenced up to 20 years in the penitentiary, even though we've agreed to a 7-year probationary term.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and you're okay with that, like the way Judge ordered?
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Just when it seemed Judah Castillo had avoided a prison sentence, the courtroom made one thing crystal clear. This case is far from over. Instead of being sent directly to prison, Castillo was given a rare opportunity through deferred adjudication. But that opportunity comes with some of the strictest conditions a defendant can face. For the next 7 years, every decision he makes will be scrutinized. He must comply with sex offender supervision, avoid contact with minors, follow employment restrictions, and register as a sex offender for life. One violation could bring him right back before the judge, where the original charge still carries a punishment of up to 20 years behind bars. The judge repeatedly emphasized the seriousness of those consequences, ensuring there was no misunderstanding about what was at stake. Will Castillo successfully complete probation and keep his freedom, or will one mistake trigger a much harsher outcome? Only time will tell how this story ends.
What is wrong with you? This case is horrible. This is a life case, honestly.
Is by penetrating the anus with his finger. That did not happen.
I didn't do it to like hurt my daughter. The thing is, she I just don't know what she wants. Like, she's spreading her legs at me. Like, what do you want me to do? And like, she's spreading her whole vagina at me, like at least 4 or 5 times.
Blaming a 6-year-old? Are you saying that you were molesting her, and as you were molesting her in such a way because you didn't want her to hurt her, grabbed her, and you're making it seem like your finger just accidentally penetrated the anus? So, State, you want to explain to me why the court should follow this 15 years? It's calling 2023 CR 0543, State of Texas versus Wilbert Villamil. State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, we are proceeding on count 3 and waiving counts 1 and 2.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
Do you understand you're charged with the offense of aggravated sexual assault of a child? That's a first-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 5 to 99 years in prison and life and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes.
You're a U.S. citizen?
No.
Did your counsel advise you of the consequences of pleading no contest or guilty in the application of federal immigration law?
What was that again? Sorry.
I said, did your attorney advise you of the consequences of entering a plea in this cause number, either no contest or guilty, and how that applies to federal immigration law?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did that advice include possible consequences such as deportation, exclusion from the United States, or the denial of naturalization?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you understand the consequences of entering a plea in this case as it relates to your immigration status?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. According to the plea, you're pleading on count 3. Punishment is to be assessed at 15 years in the prison. There are no applications. There's to be no contact with the complainants, and there's Chapter 62 compliance. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Here's my question, because I see that affirmative finding of family violence has been crossed through. Is this complainant his relative or not?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. To the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
Is there a reason I should accept this agreement? Why am I accepting this agreement?
Well, Your Honor, in this situation, what he has pled to is a single count of a single time of sexual assault of a child, which is aggravated sexual assault of a child. He has agreed to do this early on in his process. He is not contesting his guilt, and he is not contesting what's going on. He's agreed to go to prison, and 15 years is a substantial amount of time.
State, why should I accept this agreement?
Your Honor, the child is very young. She's in therapy right now. I discussed it with the mother, and this is there is a desire to get closure early on in this case, Your Honor.
So
at this point, we haven't had to re-traumatize the child by bringing her in and talking to her about this case yet.
this case is horrible. And I mean, I know he says he's pleading to a one-time penetration, but from reading this.
He didn't say that. I said it because I was just talking about the legal issues with that. So,
but I mean, having a child having her brother lick his butt.
That was something that I think was determined that did not happen.
Well, she says that he asked her to lick his butt.
That's a different one. Yes.
What is wrong with you?
Well, Your Honor, I'm not trying to beat around the bush. She was showing me her crotch, and
you got turned on.
No, I didn't. I'm telling you, I'm not physically well, I did get turned on, but not. Well, after a while, she just kept doing that. Tell her not. You know what I mean?
You're blaming a 6-year-old?
I'm not blaming my 6-year-old.
My client was sexually abused when he was a child.
How old is he now?
He's 35 years old now. But the trauma that he suffered as a child has definitely surfaced in a way that is abhorrent. It's in a way that is obviously it's not good, and that's why we are here. And he is willing to go to prison, be a lifetime registered sex offender, almost certainly be deported. He'll never live. He's been in this country since he was 2 years old. He will never live in this country again legally, and he will.
So he's being released after he does his time, released to go somewhere else and deal with his trauma that may result in him molesting some other child?
Well, he has what he is hoping to do is, as you know, the TDCJ system offers a pretty comprehensive sex offender counseling and treatment. And of course, he will at some point be wanting to go on parole. He knows that he's going to have to complete that to do that. We have talked about it, explained it. He's going to take the opportunity to do that, as well as other programs that are offered in TDCJ. He is motivated to do that. And you know, at some point when he is released, as I said, he's going to go to a country that he has basically never lived in his entire life.
What country would that be?
Mexico.
They have nice beaches there. So again, we go back to the point. What were you thinking?
Yeah, I can just say sorry, but like the only thing I can tell you is that I I try not to hurt her. You know what I mean? Like,
wait, are you saying that you were molesting her, and as you were molesting her in such a way because you didn't want her to hurt her?
No, I asked her, you can put this in your mouth. That's it. And she said no. I said, that's fine. Okay, that's it.
No, this is a penetration.
Your Honor, if what he has pled to is, and what he confessed to is by penetrating the anus with his finger.
Mm-hmm.
And he had told the police when they asked him that he told the police that he did that at the time, which is another thing. He was honest with the police. He told them what he did. You know, and at this point, we're asking for this because we have agreed early on not to leave this on a docket, not to go through the process, not to have his daughter have to come in and, as the prosecutor said, be traumatized by this, have to come in and talk to prosecutors, have to get the phone call from the DA's office. They want it done. They're going through a divorce. He's never going to have custody of these children. He's lost basically everything, including the country where he grew up, and he's going to lose his freedom for up to 15 years and for a minimum of 7.5. But as the court knows, parole doesn't happen like that for these cases. They're doing 75-85% of their time. And so he's lost his freedom for more than a decade. He has done a horrible thing, and there's nothing that he can say right now that can explain that. I think the court's questions of him, how he has confessed to you and now that he has done it. And
no, he pled no contest.
He pled no contest because I advised it because there's a civil case going on, but that's a legal advice that he was getting from his lawyer.
Yeah. So, I mean, I understand, but he pled no contest. So again, we're back to what were you thinking? Because I'm trying to figure out where you're coming from to figure out whether I should follow this plea or not.
Sorry, Your Honor, I didn't do it. I didn't do it to like hurt my daughter. I tried. I'm begging and telling you, please. I'm telling you, please. I'm not trying to force my hand in her vagina or in her ass. I basically grabbed her and I put my finger where it shouldn't be. That's it. Like I can't. I don't know how to explain.
No. So the way you're explaining it to me, you're making it seem like it was an accident.
No, it wasn't.
So was it an accident or not? Because you're telling me you just grabbed her and you're making it seem like your finger just accidentally penetrated the anus.
The thing is, I just don't know what she wants. Like, she's spreading her legs at me. Like, what do you want me to do? And like, she's spreading her whole vagina at me, like at least 4 or 5 times. Dropping her pants, like literally. Like, it's not like I'm telling you like my actions were right.
I know. I'm just trying to figure out where you are mentally. And yes.
So if I grab my daughter's butt and I throw her on the bed and I didn't like forcefully sleep.
Your Honor, at the time he told police officers that he had put his finger inside of her anus.
So it wasn't accidental. Am I right in assuming that?
He did not tell the police officers it was accidental. I don't think that he's trying to communicate that to the court. We are asking the court to follow this plea bargain. It is obvious that the man has sexual deviancy, and it's obvious all of those things that we have for people who are charged and people who are convicted of this. All of those things we're doing here. He's going to the penitentiary. He's going to be a registered sex offender for the rest of his life. All of those things are what's happening in this situation for people who have this apparent or this abhorrent behavior. He's obviously injured this child, and he understands that. He's signing for 15 years to go to prison because of what he's done.
All right. So this is a life case, honestly. So State, you want to explain to me why the court should follow this 15 years?
Your Honor, this was done, having been in this position, I have seen these cases that languish for 4, 5, 6 years. And I had discussion with the mother, and the benefit of the child was to get this done, no right to appeal, so the child could move on. It's up to the court's discretion. I'm happy to reconfer with defense counsel as well on this.
All right. If you all want to reconfer, the court would be willing to accept a plea of 20 years, not 15. If you all want to reconfer on that, you can.
Okay.
Or
this is a first-degree felony case involving an aggravated offense against a child. The defendant entered a plea of no contest. The court confirmed that the defendant understood his legal rights, the charges against him, and the consequences of his plea, which include a significant prison sentence. The judge reviewed the proposed plea agreement. The prosecution explained that the agreement was made to protect a young person from experiencing further emotional distress during court proceedings. The defense noted that the defendant would face lifetime supervision requirements and removal from the country following his sentence. The judge expressed serious concerns about the case and questioned whether the proposed sentence was appropriate. After hearing arguments from both sides, the judge declined to accept the initial 15-year agreement. The court indicated it would consider a longer sentence instead. The defense requested additional time to discuss the matter with the defendant. The judge agreed to recall the case on the following day to allow both parties further opportunity to confer.
One for a rainbow, one for Amanda.
Who you playing with, sweetie?
Amanda.
Oh, who are you?
I'm Amanda. I'm 6, and I love unicorns.
Sexual predators are seeking kids online.
We don't know Amanda.
Learn how to report abuse at end-violence.org/protect.
When a child experiences trauma, they can be stripped of their ability to imagine. But imagination is colors. All the colors. Imagination is freedom. And whatever you want it to be. But a child without imagination is not a child at all. Will you help defend our right to imagine?